Marc Daniels is here. Welcome back to the Beat of Sports.
Happy Friday, boys and girls. Welcome to the Beat of Sports. I'm Marc Daniels. Rich Vasquez is over there. And glad you're with us on what might be the final day of the season for the Orlando Magic. And again, maybe not. That's why we play the game. Big playing game tonight. Charlotte's in town. And we'll get to a little preview of that and much more. How you doing, Chris?
It was better until that last clip you played. Actually, the last two clips you played.
Oh, you still got that hangover thing? You didn't like the Stephen A. Smith clip or the Carolina Mike clip?
God.
You got to move on, man. Got to move on. Next new show, new segment. Let's go.
It's just so,
move it on.
So annoying. So annoying.
Come on, Chris. Be happy today.
I
Feel
was
good.
happy. It's Friday. It's
Feel
a great
good,
day.
you know?
Friday. It's a great day.
Look at a little excitement going, huh? I mentioned on the bridge with Kelly that my wife and I did a little date night last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my schedule's been hard to find, so I said, hey, Thursday we're going out. When you order an appetizer, what do you think is a expected amount of time before your main dish comes out? When they put the appetizer down, how long do you like to have before the main dish comes out?
I'd say about, it depends on how big the appetizer is, but I'd say probably about 10 minutes.
You would think?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
I mentioned where my wife, we went to Tibby's, which is New Orleans Cajun style food, went to the location on Aloma, Winter Park, right? Food was great. It was great. Got there a little bit, I won't say late, it was like 7:30 on a Thursday. And we ordered an appetizer. A very reasonable time, the appetizer came out. About 2 minutes later, she came back and said, would you like me to hold these? My thought is, you just going to like put it back? We going to reheat here? What are we going to do?
They would sit in the window. I would imagine, I think most restaurants are like this. They have like a heating window. That way it keeps the food warm, but it's not going to be as, fresh.
So I said, well, can we just eat the appetizer for a little bit? She goes, yeah, no problem. And
what was the appetizer, by the way?
we had, they've got a great spinach dip.
Okay.
Which are like New Orleans restaurant. Listen, we got andouille sausage. We had, gumbo. We had all the good, but it was warm, but not as hot as I like it because she came back in about 5 minutes. Again, food was great. I would have liked it a little bit, and I didn't want to do. Can you reheat? Because I don't like that. Because some food should never be reheated in a microwave and so forth. So food was good, but I would have liked a little bit of maybe hold off on putting in the order.
I also don't think they're going to reheat it in a microwave.
How would you reheat it?
Well, what'd you get?
Shrimp andouille gumbo, which is kind of a soup base with a bowl of rice.
Yeah.
You're not putting that back in the bowl and heating. It's probably going into a microwave. Again, like ideal would be 5. It came back at a 2.5 in heat. The food was great. Food was good. I have no problem with the food. I just would have liked a little bit warmer and maybe a little bit more time between the appetizer. Am I complaining? Am I whining?
No, you're just kind of pointing out a little frustration.
Okay. It was
not
good.
bad.
Still left a great tip. All good. Left a 33% tip.
Nice.
It was a good night. Food was good. Just would have liked a little bit more time with the appetizer and so forth. That's all. Richard Ailes going to join us. We'll talk a little sports and law with him coming up. Mike O'Donnell's got some basketball stuff, which we'll tackle onto the program. When we come back, I want to do, Bobby's not in today from the weekend. He's got a whole bunch of stuff with the construction going on, and so we won't get to chat with Bobby today. Hopefully next week. But when we come back, yes, the Magic play the Hornets tonight. Everybody knows what's at stake. Okay, the Hornets come in sky high after they cheated their way to beating the Heat. Oh.
Hey-oh.
Dad better not hear that. No, but LaMelo's playing tonight. But there's a national narrative that is bothering me about the Magic, even though we all know basketball reasons why they are where they are. But there's a national narrative that I think is also ridiculous. All right, I'm going to get to that. You can catch this show on FM 96.9. If you're on the AM dial, understand we have a little bit of problem on the AM dial. You might hear a little crackling and so forth.
Yeah, just someone texted in. Can you fix the signal?
Yeah, Chris, fix it.
I'm on it. I'll be back.
Engineering is aware. If you're watching in the stream as I make the quotes, one of our guys is in Pittsburgh right now, so he's not going to be fixing it. But we're aware and working on it. You can always listen on the iHeart app, which I encourage you to, because there's never an issue sound-wise. You can listen to that anywhere, and you can also go on the stream. Access that via Twitter at 96 on Game On, and go to our YouTube page, 96 on the Game Orlando. Click on the logo on the live button. You can watch the stream. And by the way, on the stream today, I've got something special for Chris.
It's not a food that I won't eat.
No. You'll love it today. You'll love it today, what I brought you.
Oh, well,
you don't even know.
I always seem to love the clips that you're going to play, and it turns out to be
no. I guarantee you will love, when we do the show within the show, you'll love what I brought you today.
Okay.
You'll have no problem with what I have brought in.
Okay.
You're not going to be asked to eat anything you don't want to eat or anything like that. I think you'll really enjoy what I brought in today for you.
Okay.
All right.
I'm excited.
That's reason to go click on the stream. All right. First, here's everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CB's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's so great.
Oh, all right. I got to end the week strong.
Okay, let's bring it.
Mark, why did I not laugh at the cashier's joke?
Oh, I think I might know this. Chris, I don't know why you didn't laugh at the cashier's joke.
I did not laugh at the cashier's joke because it did not register with me. Register.
You know what I thought it was? Because you checked out is what I thought it may have been. But that's not bad. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Hey, it's Johnny Magic from Johnny's house.
Look, we've got you covered with the hits and what's going on in the city beautiful.
And Mark, he's got everything you need to know in the sports world, with maybe a touch of sarcasm.
This is the Beat of Sports with Marc Daniels.
Tonight, the Kia Center Magic and the Hornets play, and by now everybody knows what's at stake. Magic win, they're the HT. They'll get the Pistons and play 6:30 on Sunday. Game 1, Game 2 would be Wednesday. And if the Magic win tonight, we'll all just be like, hey, you know what? Anything can happen. Pistons just getting Cade back, so
we wanted the Pistons anyways.
Right. And if they lose, pitchforks and flames ready to go because it's just going to be nonstop pile on. Okay, and there's nothing like either A, the euphoric state of, hey, you start feeling good, the vibes about your team, or the, all right, let's go, let's pile it on, right? Let's be angry and all that stuff. Chris, as a Cowboy fan, I'm going to try to connect this to you. You have lived through the ups and downs and frustrations of your team's lack of a Super Bowl, and you follow the team on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
You have an understanding of the ins and outs, right?
Mm-hmm.
When somebody that you know doesn't follow the team as closely as you, from way out there, goes, yeah, they just stink, and just drop a couple of things, and you're like, I know you don't watch. I know you don't pay attention. You have no idea what's going on, why they may do this. Doesn't it frustrate you?
I laugh at it, honestly.
Right.
I laugh at it.
Right. You know, when people maybe don't understand the reason why some things take place, and it's just a generic off-the-top rope, you're like, really? Okay. So while there certainly has been in 10 o'clock hour WYGM Orlando, WJR, HD2 Cocoa Beach, while there has been plenty to complain about the Magic over the course of the entire season for all the things that I'm not going to regurgitate here about Jamal Mosley, about their offense, about Paolo, about the injuries, all of that stuff. What I have found interesting the last day plus, and not that criticism wasn't valid when the Magic lost to the Sixers, but this national narrative of just off the top rope, I'm using the wrestling reference with WrestleMania here, is a little bit out of control. Because, Chris, would you agree, even though at the beginning of the season, the national perception, forget idiots like me, the national perception was they're going to be good. They're going to be a top 4 seed. I don't know if they can be the 1 seed, but they'll be a top 4 seed. Because we're thinking Indiana with the injury, Boston with Tatum out. Hey, the Knicks may be good, but here's Cleveland. Hey, they're going to be a top 4 seed. And then, Chris, how much attention do the Magic get nationally throughout the season? As the year gets going and OKC gets off to that incredible start, they look like they're going to win 80. And then Wemby and the Spurs are like, I think they're going to be good. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, Boston's not going to have a miserable season? And wait, the Pistons, they're ready to be a 1 seed. How much national coverage did the Magic get during the season?
Not a ton.
Like nothing. Hey, injuries again. Yeah, whatever. What do you think about LeBron and Luka, right? Wemby, MVP, SGA, nothing. Yes, there was an occasional, guess you got to fill content on some of these shows, because if you're going to do a basketball show every day on ESPN, you can't do a Luka or LeBron or Wemby segment every single day. Most days you can. But then it was, I don't know about Jamal Mosley and that team down there, and then it was about Paolo. Okay, and it's not that wasn't worthy of some discussion, but now I want to play a few clips for you. Now it is, here's Pyle, who's jumping on. Okay, this is not a new clip. This is a couple of weeks ago. Let's check in with one of the harshest critics of the Magic, ladies and gentlemen, Kendrick Perkins.
Quit on Jamal Mosley. They quit. And if we go back, not from last game, go back against that game where they played Toronto a few nights ago. How embarrassing that was.
50 points.
And it starts
So far, we're good. He's right. Okay.
with Paolo Banchero.
Okay, here we go.
Right? It starts from the top. How many times this season has he come out publicly, post-game interview, and has threw his coach under the damn bus?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you give me the example? What game was that? By name. Which game was it that he said, hey, let me tell you what's wrong with Jamal Mosley and my coach? And before you go, well, you know what he's talking about, tell me. I remember the clip where he's asked about halftime adjustments and he says other teams make adjustments. Are you referring to that? Because you just said how many times? Let me go back and play this a little bit. Here we go again.
From the top, how many times this season has he come out publicly, post-game interview, and has threw his coach under the damn bus? He obviously don't want to play for Jamal Mosley. And
that might be true, but how many times? 5, 8, 12?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's fired. Does he deserve to lose his job? Hell no.
He doesn't. If the season ends tonight, is it all just on Paolo? And Jamal Mosley is guilt-free here, or he's done no wrong. Again, you win as a team, you lose as a team. It isn't all on Jamal Mosley, but okay, let's go on.
Paolo Banchero has to play better. Paolo Banchero has to be a better leader. That is the problem. He's been inconsistent. If you ask me, DG, Wendy, Malika, he has taken steps back. At the beginning of the season, after the postseason run he had last season, we was expecting him to be in the conversation
Also adding
with the best of them.
And that's not completely wrong. I don't have a problem of criticism to say, look, did Paolo get a lot better this year? And then you go stat hunting, okay? Which, by the way, the graphic they put up while he's doing this it's stat hunting to show something bad about Paolo. I understand that, but you have to bring some context here. The Magic are not in the position they're in tonight simply because Paolo doesn't like his coach. Because if that's the narrative you're selling, that's ridiculous. It doesn't mean that you just always use the excuse of injuries. But let's continue with others that have some views on what's happened to the Magic this year. Let's go to Dave McMahon of ESPN.
Charlotte's a nice little layover for them on a trip to Cancun, right? And
First off, this series, I mean, the game's not in Charlotte, it's in Orlando.
There's nothing magical about this Orlando season. This has been miserable. Let's just be honest. And Paolo Banchero and Jamal Mosley, they haven't been on the same page. They've been headbutting. That's been well known. They've done it in press conferences.
When?
Hold on. Who's that in the background?
Amon Shumpert. Okay. When? Because, again, what we're doing here is we're taking clips, and I understand Paolo's frustrated. So, yeah, he'll say, yeah, that clip where, we don't make adjustments. And then Jamal Mosley is the one who goes, we make adjustments. So we're going to take that one game clip, and we're now jumping to, hey, these guys throw each other under the bus all the time. Where's the clip of Jamal Mosley doing it? Does he mention his name? Listen, my problem with Paolo is where's the clip?
At times this year. And there's certainly a wide expectation around the league that Jamal Mosley is in serious jeopardy of losing his job. I will say this.
By the way, so the guy that's supposed to report things like that takes the half-ass way, go, hey, I'm not saying it, but I'm just hearing, right? Okay? I mean, you're the reporter. Tell me what I'm supposed to know. Okay, go on.
If that does happen, he will be a candidate for at least one other job immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm also just going to point out that Paolo Banchero has yet to prove in this league that he can drive winning. He said it himself. He's got to play much better because that was a terrible performance.
And I don't argue that. There is valid criticism about the performance throughout the year. Let's check back in now. Here's Amon Shumpert, that same show. Okay. Chiming in.
There's commands out there. We hearing it from the coach.
The only voice.
It's Amon Shumpert, and I forget the name of the other guy that's on the show here with them. But again, here we go.
You heard defensively for the Magic was Jamal Mosley, the head coach.
That's crazy.
He was the one yelling out instructions. None of the players were doing it to
and
each
go
other.
look around the league. You look around the league, and these.
Okay, I want you to listen to what they're insinuating here, okay? Because Amon Shumpert, and I forget the name of the other guy, want you to think that the Magic bench doesn't do anything during the game. That other teams right now, they're up, they're cheering, they're fired up, they're screaming defensive assignments, but not the Magic. Let me pick the clip back up again.
We hearing it from the coach.
The only voice you heard defensively for the Magic was Jamal Mosley, the head
That's
coach.
crazy.
He was the one yelling out instructions. None of the players were doing it to
and
each
go
other.
look around.
That's a guy that hasn't watched Magic basketball at all this season. That's just, hey, we got a segment here of the Magic and how bad they are. So let me chime in right now and explain where you didn't watch a single game.
But I'm confused. Isn't it the coach's responsibility to yell out defensive assignments?
No. But what they're saying is, hey, this team's not on the same page because the players at the end of the bench aren't doing it. Hang on.
Around the league, you look around the league in these playoff situations, play-in situations, you are seeing the rest of the bench is screaming, slamming on the floor, yelling, jumping up and down, reactions to every scored point. Where is it?
Are you serious? Now that's Iman Shumpert. Are you serious? Just go rewind the game from the other night. What the hell are you talking about? Okay? And that's what drives me crazy. If you want to have a discussion about, hey, this is what's wrong with Orlando's offense. It's stagnant. This is why they struggle. They can't find shooting. And valid criticism of guys like Paolo, and then you're willing to put in the fact that the injuries, then we can have a discussion. If we're going to reduce it to, hey, the bench isn't cheering loud enough in a play-in game, what the hell are we doing? You got to be kidding me. This is what you came down to? Again, I'll admit you can go stat hunting. I'd rather you do that than do they're not cheering enough on the bench. What game were you watching? Did Amazon have a separate feed for you that said, hey, no bench shots here? What, seriously, what were you watching? We're doing this. The criticism come down to, yeah, they just sit there and they do nothing during the game. That's it? There's like this list of 30 things you could go after the Magic this season. You're going to go with, I don't see the guys cheering on the bench. Who's the ML car that's waving a towel here? Like, it is comical about the national narrative of a team that got very little attention. And by the way, didn't earn it because of the way the season went. But now it's like, all right, I mean, let's not do another segment on LeBron and how he handles things without Luka. And then so I got it. Let's do the Magic thing. What do you want to talk about? Injuries? No. I can pick on Paolo. What else? They're not cheering on the bench. Let's go with that. I love that one. They're just not cheering loud enough on the bench. One more time here. Okay. This is my favorite part.
That's crazy.
He was the one yelling out instructions. None of the players were doing it to
and go look around the league. You look around the league in these playoff situations, play-in situations, you are seeing the rest of the bench is screaming, slamming on the floor, yelling, jumping up and down, reactions to every scored point. Where is it? Where's the camaraderie?
Got to feel like they've got right, think about like with them. Right. This is
right now.
This is. I didn't watch a single game, but I got 3 minutes left in the segment, so I'm going to bring in the thing about the benches and cheering loud enough. Good grief! I'd rather you just rip Paolo for another 5 minutes, okay, than that stuff. I mean, good grief! But there you go.
The Magic from last season, for what it's worth, obviously doesn't really mean much. Even though they finished in the 7th seed last year, they had 4 more wins this year than last year.
You know, but
they did improve for as much as we were expecting them to be a 55 win season.
I said this a few weeks ago. The record of the Magic proves that there's talent on the team, that despite all of the games missed, they still won 46 games. That doesn't make anybody feel better if they lose tonight.
45,
I'm sorry. Right, Boston, assuming. But it doesn't help if they lose tonight. But there's a narrative there that if you want to have a real discussion about the issues and a flawed roster and coaching weakness, that's fine. But when you get down to, how many times is Paolo going to call Jamal Mosley out in a post-game press conference? I don't know, Kendrick. How many times did it happen this year? Give me a number. I can't even play the other clip of the podcast that he did that went viral because the F-bombs that he dropped going after Paolo, which is fine. Come with the criticism. Basketball, I may not agree with all of it, but that's okay when it's these guys called each other out all the time. What post-game coverage did you get this season that the rest of us didn't get? I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, I'm going to look early tonight. If the Hornets bench is reacting better than the Magic bench, we're in trouble. We're in trouble tonight.
They're not slamming the floor. They're not yelling. They're not hooting and hollering.
If I don't see Mo Wagner going insane on the first made 3 tonight, I'm calling timeout just to get this bench locked in. That's the key to tonight's game. Who the hell cares what Paolo does? Jace Richardson better be on the ground, banging that thing, first possession. Otherwise, again, I'll burn 2 timeouts early. Good grief. Richard Hale's next.
Time now for this week's Sports Law segment with Richard Hale.
We talk sports and law on Fridays. Richard Hale is our sports law expert. Hale and Jacobson, the firm, online at hhjlegal.com. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mark, but it's tough to hear you this morning because I'm pounding on the floor over here.
Well, I mean, if your support team is not making noise off on the side, then we're not getting this thing done. By the way, Richard, who did last Friday talk about Scotty Scheffler, he got back in the hunt, made it interesting on Sunday at the Masters. Scotty did.
He almost made me look good, made a little run. If that putt goes in on 17 and Rory tees it up on 18 up, he'd be up 1 at that point and has to make a par. And I don't know, maybe it all shakes out differently, but game of inches, and it was a lot of fun watching the Masters for sure.
Let's slide somewhat of a golf story, but interesting to me. Prosecutors down in the Jupiter area trying to access Tiger Woods' prescription records as they build their case. He's trying to block it. Is this common, and will they successfully get them, or is there some protection here?
Yeah, certainly is common, and there was and let's talk in depth as to why. Subpoena was sent to Tiger Woods Pharmacy for a list of the prescriptions he is on. Now, why is that important in this case? It's important in this case because, as we know, Tiger did blow into the breathalyzer, came back 0.0, but he refused the urine test. And so what the state is going to be burdened to show is, hey, those records are relevant because we don't have the blow evidence, but because he did refuse the urine, there is at least a suggestion there may have been things in his system that contributed to him being impaired at the time. And so we need to understand what those substances are to determine whether or not they could have caused some of the impairment that he's been charged with. So yes, I think that the judge is going to sit down and say, okay, state, argue to me the relevance of these particular, of this particular subpoena. And I think in this particular instance, for the reasons that I just stated, the state is going to be able to do so. We did see an objection from Tiger's defense team. Of course, we understand they don't want those records to be turned over. We understand why. But I think in this particular instance, what they will argue to the judge is, okay, judge, if you are going to make the determination that these records need to be turned over, and then if that's going to be the decision, we need to do it in a way that limits that information only getting to the government, the defense, and obviously, and that be it. We're not going to allow there to be some down the line public records request for this information where it can be disseminated to the public. And I think that's fair. So yes, we did see an objection. Yes, there is an objection to those records being released at all, but more specifically, that objection is going to be to how and when that information becomes available. And let's limit that information to only the parties that are involved here, make sure that it doesn't get out for public discourse.
Let's move to soccer. Lionel Messi is still arguably the world's biggest star, and when he plays anytime, it sells tickets and there's big money involved. There's now a lawsuit because he failed to play in an exhibition match. What's the story here for Mr. Messi missing a match and dollars lost?
Yeah, just incredible what a draw this guy has become. And in fact, so there was an effort made by a promotional company when they wanted to bring some of the Argentine matches to the United States to say, look, we're only doing this if Messi is involved. So we're willing to put big money behind it, but he can't take a break. Like, he's the draw. He's the reason people are, he's the one putting butts in seats. He's the reason people are coming to see them play. So we want some type of guarantee that Messi is going to participate. According to the terms of this contract, that guarantee was written in, and there was a clause that said if he does not participate, we're able to get some of our money back here. And so what you see them doing now is trying to claw back a little bit of the money that they spent in terms of promoting these events, because naturally, if Messi doesn't show, then it's not nearly as successful, not nearly as profitable. And so you see him trying to claw some money back. Not privy to the exact terms of the contract at this point, but certainly as the discovery phase unfolds, that's something that we'll be able to learn and see what type of economic impact Messi had to the plaintiff in this particular case, so that we can try to calculate what the damages were for him not playing.
Fans can relate, whether it be sports, concerts, anything. You buy a ticket, there's a price, and then you take a look and you learn about fees, and it drives people crazy. This is an interesting one. You got a Red Sox fan fighting back over hidden fees, and it's not just a Red Sox story. I think a lot of fans kind of scratch their head sometimes about, wait, that's not just the cost of ticket. Then you see all the fees put on top of that, and a lot of people try to kind of hide those fees. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you see this a lot of times on these ticket broker sites, be it a Ticketmaster, StubHub, Vivid Seats, whatever it happens to be, where you go on the site and it advertises to you, you're going to pay $50 for this ticket. You go ahead and pay that, and then you go to the checkout screen, and you've got the tax, you've got some type of state tax, then you have maybe an additional fee of some kind, and they call it all types of different things. So, what you have here are the fans fighting back saying, listen, you described us, you advertised us, we could get, 2 seats and for $50, $100, and now we're looking at paying $120. What's the $20 extra fee? It's rarely made clear on the website. If it is, it's in the very fine print, which, mind you, as the consumer, we're all supposed to read. But in this particular case, what they're saying is this isn't even in the fine print. Like, this isn't something that was disclosed to us as the consumer. It's just this additional fee that gets tacked on. There's no explanation as to what it is. You're saying that we signed some disclosure when we checked out, online that says we acknowledge. We don't acknowledge. We're not sure what this is. Interestingly enough, there have been other cases, most notably a case very recently involving the Washington Nationals about a similar type fee. And that case was thrown out. So let me explain just real quick the difference in that case and the one that's being bought by the Red Sox. In that particular instance, there was a group of consumers. It wasn't individual consumers. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of an actual entity. There's a distinction being made now because that lawsuit being filed by an entity was thrown out because they couldn't display any individual harm. This lawsuit's a little bit different because we have, in this case, at least the allegations are that a number of individuals suffered harm. Now, it may sound like a difference without, or distinction without a difference. I think it's incredibly important here. And this may be something that the court hangs its hat on in the Boston Red Sox case to say, okay, we do have individuals here who can display how they were harmed. And we're going to take this, allow this case to continue at least beyond a motion to dismiss level. We can get into some discovery and see where are these hidden fees coming from and how punitive are they to the consumer.
I want to squeeze a fourth story in. It's not funny, but the headline may be funny. A doctor operates on wrong knee. We have a college basketball player that went in for surgery, and the doctor truly operated on the wrong knee and then did do the right knee, but said, well, this knee was going to need surgery anyway. It's not funny. It's chuckling the headline, but it's actually pretty sad here. Richard, your thoughts on this story?
Yeah, we don't talk a lot of medical malpractice on here. Did the doctor fall below the reasonable standard of care is the question. I've had surgery in the past, and usually, there's a lengthy document that you sign, which, acknowledges the type of surgery it's going to be, the body part they're going to operate on, and you're signing off on all of that before you go under the knife. And so how something like that happens in this day and time is a little bit beyond me. I mean, even to the extent that sadly, my gorgeous wife suffered an ACL sprain or tear a couple of years ago. And I remember before her surgery, they are drawing on the knee that they're going to operate on to make sure that this doesn't happen. So in this particular case, obviously, I think it's arguable that the doctor fell below the standard of care, and whether or not that's, whether or not it's actionable in this case, the doctor's excuse seems to have been, well, they were going to need to operate on that knee anyway. Not sure that that's a defense. But like you said, the headline's a little funny. I think it's far more serious than that, and you hope that this particular athlete gets the relief they're looking for.
Yeah, mind-boggling answer. Well, we're going to need surgery anyway on this. Like, seriously, it reads like a Family Guy episode is what it is, and I don't mean to make light of something like that. Good stuff, Richard. Have a great week. Thank you so much.
Take care, Mark.
Yeah. What'd you do? Well, we worked on the wrong knee, but I think there's a good chance this knee was going to need some surgery anyway. So, got a 2-for-1. Buy one, get one. Not what you want to hear, huh?
I don't know how to respond to that.
It's a crazy story. I did the double take, like, wait, what? And the doctor truly goes, well, it was going to need surgery anyway. Uh-huh.
Are you just trying to say that to cover yourself?
He did, yeah. Michael Daniels got some basketball talk for us next.
This is Step Back 3 with MOD. Straightaway 3, that's it. Let's talk college hoops. Let's talk hoops with college basketball analyst Mike O'Donnell.
A lot to get to it, Mike, and we always enjoy our Fridays. Talk some basketball. Good morning, Mr. O'Donnell. How are you?
Oh, Mr. Daniels, I'm doing really good, man.
Uh-oh.
Sports
I just sound like something's wrong here.
right now. No, nothing's wrong. I just may I share a little piece of content with you?
Of course. Life's not all about hardcore basketball talk.
That's right. Well, 90% of it is for me. But so my son is playing the youth baseball. He's actually being coached by UCF baseball legend Matt Rhodes, which is really cool.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how old now is your son? Luke's how old?
He's 7.
7. Okay.
And last Saturday, 3 for 3 RBIs.
Smells like someone's headed a travel ball.
2 singles and a double, just like it's ho hum, like it's nothing. And then the best is, we run from baseball. Can get in the car. Luke's got it down pat. He's got to get out of his baseball uniform into his basketball uniform and heads over to a basketball game.
Love it.
Just,
multiple sports star. That's the way it needs to be.
Just the best. Yeah. So this past week, I actually had to. I didn't know. I come home from work on Monday, and I have to take Luke to baseball on Monday. But there's also games that go on Monday night, other youth baseball games over in Oviedo. And Andy says, "Hey, you got to take a look at the baseball." I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go." So they go, "Oh yeah, don't forget. By the way, you have to work the concession stand."
Whoa!
I said, what?
Wait.
What? She says, "Yeah, every parent, has to work the concession stand once." And I said, "Oh, okay. Is there any other way to get out of this?" She's like, "Yeah, if you pay $50."
I'm sorry, what?
I was like, we paid the $50, right? She said, No, I signed you up. You can't back out. What? I said, okay, well, what do I do? She's like, well, I don't really know, but they said when you walk in, there's a white 3-ring binder that has everything you need to know. I said, I've got to read a manual now? Walking into this thing? Are you serious? I walk in. I open up this manual. It's like 20 pages. It's got all these codes. And I'm like, this is going to be bad. I didn't open for the first 15 minutes because I'm trying to figure out.
Wait, you're by yourself?
By myself.
Oh, my God.
So by myself, people are not, I don't even have the big metal window.
Not even open.
It's not even open. There are people knocking on it.
Right.
And I'm like, 15, I'm almost there. Hold on a second. Just wait 1 second. Come back in 5 minutes.
Oh.
I screamed that like 3 times.
Yeah.
I finally get, not only I get the window open, I punch in the code. I'm finally like, okay, guys, I don't know what's going on. So this one lady walks up and says, you look a little frazzled. I said, no, I'm good. She's like, I'm going to come back in a few minutes when you've calmed down. I said, oh, okay, well, I'm ready. First guy walks up. I'm going to do an impression for you that I think you're going to know exactly. A guy walks up and says, hey, man, y'all got any of that Mountain Dew? I said, yeah, I mean, it's right there. It's right. Yeah, it's right in the thing behind. It's in the refrigerator behind. You can see it again. There he goes. He slaps his belly, rubs it, and goes, you know what? I better do the diet. Y'all got Diet Mountain Dew? And I said, yeah, man, it's right. Yeah, I got you, brother. Okay. So I grabbed the Diet Mountain Dew. I popped in the cone. I said, that'll be $2. He slaps his belly again and goes, you might as well go ahead and throw in a couple Cracker Jacks too.
This is
and I said, okay,
awesome.
Man. Okay.
Yep.
And I got
you. You want to balance the Cracker Jacks with the diet soda. It makes you feel better.
What's going on in my head, is just I cannot say at this time. About 2 minutes later, this lady walks up. And she walks up and she looks at me, and then she looks at the refrigerator display with all the drinks that are in it. And she looks back at me and says, do you happen to have any water besides Aquafina water?
Stop.
And I turn around and I'm like, I don't think so. She's like, can you go in the back and check?
What back?
I said, go in the back. And I was like, okay. So I walked back and I kind of looked and rummaged very briefly. And I come back. I said, no, ma'am. Looks like we're just selling Aquafina today. And she says, are you sure? Could you double check? And I said, no, I look pretty good. And she goes, well, we just our family has kind of a hangout about Aquafina water. And I looked at her and I was like, I didn't even say anything. I just stared at her. What would you like me to do in this situation? So I said, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, but we just have Aquafina. And she goes, but the other league has different water, has multiple waters.
Yep.
I said, okay. What would you like me to do in this situation? Would you like an Aquafina water? She says, well, I guess I'll take 3 Aquafinas. I grabbed 3 Aquafina and said, okay, that'll be, I think it's like $6. It'll be $6. Do you have any Skittles besides the regular Skittles?
Wow.
I said, well, I don't know. Could you go in the back?
Oh, come on.
I go in the back and check. I said, sorry, man, we just got regular Skittles. She goes, fine. I said, okay, that'll be another, it's $7.50. But have a wonderful day. A couple guys later, hey, y'all got any sunflower seeds? And there's sunflower seeds hanging on this, almost, it looks like kind of a rope that's, all these sunflower seeds are attached to it. I said, yeah, they're right there, sir. I said, do you have y'all got any plain sunflower seeds? I said, well, let me turn around and look. No, we got lemon pepper, we got barbecue, and we got ranch. Dang, are you sure? I said, yes, sir. I said, really? Can you go in the back?
What do people think is back there?
I said, what do you even? I said, no, sir. I said, that's what you see is what you get. That's the actual line that I said at the concession stand.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. He goes, dang. And a long pause, Mark, a long pause. Well, you might as well give me some of those lemon pepper ones. All right, that'll be $1.50, sir. Have a good day. I couldn't believe, Mark, that was 3 of 20 people that I served within an hour. That was just, I couldn't believe it was unbelievable. It was so remarkable. It was a full Saturday Night Live skit mixed with Seinfeld. I mean, I don't want to do it again, but I kind of want to do it again just for content purposes.
Couple things here. Couple things. How long was the shift?
It was about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Cashless?
Yes.
Okay.
Cashless.
Couple things. One, you're a better man than me. I have no problem admitting that, because what I would have done is I would have closed up immediately. I would have taken my son off the field and I would have left for another league. There's no way I would have stayed.
I thought about it.
Yeah. Now, the last thing is I'm willing to pay you 50 times 10 if I can work the next shift with you.
Oh, deal, brother, deal. Let's go. You know, one of the funniest ones was this kid walks up, couldn't have been more 7, 8 years old. He walks up and you could tell he had his whole speech ready to go, right?
Yep.
He was very nervous. He walks up and he says, 3 Gatorades, 2 blue, 1 red, 1 Hershey's candy bar, 1 Snickers candy bar, 1 Starburst, please. I said, son, is this all for you? I feel like I'm working at the Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, he didn't respond. All he did was slowly raise his hand up, and he had a Chase Sapphire Blue credit card in his hand.
That's awesome.
And I said, your money is good here, young man. I got you, brother.
Next week he's got a black Amex card that he's bringing up there.
Here's your large Hershey's chocolate bar.
Paying in Bitcoin in 2 weeks, and so that's unbelievable.
Right.
Wow.
That's right. Oh man, it was next level.
Yeah. See, you're a better man than me, because when the woman asked about the water, I would have just said, you know what? We've got 9 different varieties here. Which one would you like? Because of course the Little League baseball field has 8 different types of. Yeah.
Mark. She looked at me. The exact quote was, I'm not making this up. She says, well, my family just has kind of a hang up about Aquafina.
Mm.
And in my head, I'm like, oh, there's a hose out back.
Yeah.
If you would prefer that, what would you like me to do in this situation? Were we having a conversation about the water dilution of Aquafina? What do you want me to do? Unbelievable, man.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
please let me know the next time this happens because I want to
You
work.
better
with
hit
you.
a home run tomorrow. That's all I got to say.
Man, let me do some basketball stuff.
Hard
here.
pivot. We got to do a hard pivot away from that. Yeah.
Tonight, the Magic play elimination game. I'm going to ask you to take a 30,000-foot view, and it doesn't have to be just an observation about Paolo and Jamal Mosley, but your view of when there might be a disconnect of player to coach when you still got a lot of basketball left to play and how body language sometimes tells a story. It happens in all levels of basketball, including in the NBA.
You know, most of the time, stuff that you see in game, if you see anything of body language concern or negative interaction between coach and player, that stuff what you're seeing is the game, but all of the stuff that's accumulated leading up to the game, if there's frustration between coach and player, there's an enormous amount of buildup that is created in practice. Whether it is you're watching film and maybe, a player isn't receiving what's being on film. Well, sometimes it's a player just disagrees with the entire offensive and defensive scheme and game plan that you build in the film session, and that becomes very vocal. And then on the court, there are certainly things that can bubble over in terms of, a player could be really unhappy with things outside of basketball, which trickles onto the court, and the coach doesn't care about it. And then there's no communication off the court. It's just on the court. Most of the time, what you're seeing, actually, it's not always about playing time. It's not always about scoring. Most of the time, the relationship, if it is deteriorating, and I don't have any inside knowledge that as it is, if there is a deteriorating relationship, so much happens in practice, so much happens in film session to where it just starts to snowball. And then you're more frustrated, and then the game happens, and your relationship, good or bad, if it's bad, everything's compounded. If your relationship is good and the lights turn on and there's 20,000 people in the arena and it's a tight situation, well, you're going to be able to communicate effectively. 20,000 people, lights turn on, you're pushing for the playoffs, and you're trying to come back and you're not playing well and you're in a timeout, and all of a sudden that starts to snowball. The negativity starts to snowball. So what you're seeing in the game is actually a culmination of a lot of things that most likely happen in practice, film session, and not actually the game.
Let me pivot in our final few minutes here. I want to ask you, I've learned the last couple of years, and I continue to try to discipline myself. As the college basketball portal is open, I don't believe 95% of the dollar figures that are being thrown out. I just don't. And I think some of it schools are to blame because they like the image that's out there. I'm for a player getting whatever he wants. I've watched players bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. But so I'm going to ask you for your thoughts on what is perceived to be this insane market of guys that are demanding $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 million to play college basketball. And what I don't doubt, players are getting more than they did maybe a year or two ago. I just don't believe some of the numbers.
Yeah, so we don't have enough time to fully go through all of it, right? So what I'll say really quick is, Mark, I think there are a handful of schools that do, but I think it's only a handful of schools that do like to see the inflated number. Most of the inflated numbers are actually, if you talk to a lot of assistant coaches, and I talked to a bunch over at the Final Four, it's the agents that are doing wildly inflated numbers, completely ridiculous, of a player who's averaging 7 points a game was making maybe $80,000. Says, well, he's worth now $450,000. What? That's not coming from the coach. That's not coming from the head coach. That's not coming from the GM of the school. If the school has a GM, that's not coming from the assistant coaches. That's coming from an agent who doesn't really know how to be an agent. That's what that's coming from, of where you're actually hurting your client at that time. If you were making, it's just a number, I'll just say if you were making $80,000 and you came off the bench and you were averaging 7.5, 8 points a game, and now you're asking for $450,000 because that's what you think the market is, because that's what you're quote unquote hearing, you're going to hurt. You're hurting your client. Anybody who's making six figures, anybody who's making close to $500,000, is not averaging 7 points a game coming off the bench. Now, at some schools you are. At some schools that does exist, but the majority of, I'm talking major power conference schools, you're kidding yourself. You're hurting your client, and you'll end up putting him in a bad situation. So no, I don't think most of these numbers are real. I do think there are one or two situations where that number is real, where then you have a market, because the market is so interesting, Mark, and I know you know economics of sports so well, far better than me. But what we do is there could be a legitimate $5 million offer for a player. That $5 million offer for a player is then, that's what everybody sets their market as. Well, my client isn't as good as that, because that kid averaged 20 points a game. My client averaged about 14, 15 a game. So I'm not going to ask for $5 million, but I'm going to ask for $4. Well, you cannot compare the from a market to market like that. There's a handful of players that the market is that $4 million, $5 million player, which I still think is totally ridiculous. But the overwhelming majority of players, while they're bouncing around and trying to land at a school, what their agents are doing is saying, that dude is worth $5 million. My client is at least worth $3 million. And every assistant coach in the country is saying, wait, what? Your guy averaged 14 a game. He was really good, but you think that you're equaling points per game value to a dollar figure, regardless of conference affiliation. It's completely ridiculous. And that's why you're seeing all these wild numbers.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things in play, and this is just my.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I just think that fans maybe don't care. The number of agents that embarrass themselves by lying to the school that a player played for about an offer elsewhere, and then come crawling back with their tail between their leg and says, "Well, we'll take this from you." And it's like, "Well, I thought you were seeking $2 million. Now you want $400,000." Yeah, he wants to come back.
Yeah.
And then I will say this, and I think it's some, not all, some that cover college basketball on the media side are doing a disservice when it comes to the perception, because they're falling for this crap by agents, because they want the story first. So they're making up numbers that I think are not real. There's some, quote, services out there that are full of crap. They do it in football. They do it in basketball. They may have a number in their name. And I think they're part of just making up the stuff and throwing a number at $4, $5, $6 million. And then you find out it's not even a third of that. It's nowhere close, but the story's out there and it makes everybody look good. And I think they're doing a disservice.
How often do you see from a major media outlet, or just an individual, and I'm not asking you to name names at all, but how often do you see where something is reported of what you just said, like player X commits to an ACC school for $2 million, but the real number actually ends up being what you said, like it's really like $750,000 or less, and the $2 million was just fabricated of what we kind of hoped. How often does the second story get reported?
Yeah, right. Rarely, if ever, of credible people do they play that game. But for the people that live straight hits and clicks and need the agent to feed them stuff because the competition, they don't care. They'll put it out there. And, look, fine, I'll mention it. I follow them. You follow them. I think On3's coverage of the price that football players and basketball players get is embarrassing, because they fall for this crap all the time and just throw crap out there and therefore create that narrative. And it's not even close. It's not even close. Players getting $4 million, and you find out through trusted source, he's not even making $1 million, but they want the story out there. And I think they do a disservice to the narrative.
That's where the fan gets really frustrated.
Yeah.
Because most fans want players to stay. They want players to stay at their school. Most, right? Yeah. And most fans want most players on their team to stay. So you can build a relationship, you can watch your team, you can feel invested. And what a small thing that kind of goes unnoticed is when an announcement is made like that on social media, well, everybody sees it, including maybe players that feel like, wait a second, that guy,
Yeah. Oh,
is getting
exactly.
that number.
Yeah.
I'm going to my agent saying like, that guy's, I'm way better than that guy, and the agent says, well, what the agent is going to do is he going to say, no, Joe Smith, you're not actually that good. Well, if you say that, well, the player's going to be like, you're gone. You're not my agent anymore. You don't believe in me. So then the agent goes like, well, I have to go back and ask for more money. And then all of a sudden, the trickle down effect of like where the GM of the school, the assistant coaches say, go to the agent and be like, no, we're tired of dealing with you right now. And if he wants to leave, then he has to leave. He doesn't want to be. Well, it's not what I'm saying. He just wants a little bit more money.
Right.
No, that's not what we agreed to.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the player leaves because he's like, well, forget this. It's so chaotic and it's not great. I love that we're talking about college basketball at now, right? Late April into May. I love that. But not at the expense of the fan experience. And maybe most fans want the chaos and they like it. But I think most fans including major donors that are the ones that are providing and writing these huge, huge, huge checks are really, I don't think there's a lot of happy people right now.
Go enjoy an Aquafina water. Have a good weekend.
Holy smokes. You're not kidding. Thanks, Mark. See you.
Thank you, Mike. 11 o'clock hour, WYGM Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We kick the 11 o'clock hour off with the news next.
Let's really do the news.
Yes.
Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
All right, Magic tonight against the Hornets elimination game. If they win, they'll get the Pistons in the 1-8 matchup. That would begin Sunday, 6:30 in Detroit, a game 2 on Wednesday. But before you can get there, you got to beat the Hornets tonight. It took 3 of 4 from the Magic this season. Coverage you just heard begins at 7 o'clock on this station. Tip just after 7:30. Again, win and advance, lose, and all that off-season noise gets even louder. Hornets 3.5-point favorites on the metal ball will play in the game. The NBA, again, 2 fines, but no suspension after the incident with Bam Adebayo. Warriors and Suns tonight in Phoenix in that matchup. Suns are 3.5-point picks over Golden State for that game. The NBA playoffs do begin tomorrow, 1 o'clock game. Toronto plays at Cleveland, followed by the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, Hawks and Knicks and Rockets and Lakers, the 4-game set for tomorrow in the NBA. Less than a week away from the NFL draft, and lots of trade rumors and speculation, all sorts of things like that. Pittsburgh will be the site of the draft, beginning with the round one set for Thursday. Yesterday, as Liv began their latest golf tournament in Mexico City, their CEO was more positive, saying that the money is there, Scott O'Neill, that they'll fully fund it for the upcoming season. After that, they'll look for their partners, but gave a rosy view. Meanwhile, most people believe that the backers of LIB, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and this is a story probably for Richard Hill next week, Chris, may use the war in Iran as a way of getting out and claiming they do not, force majeure, may owe no money to the players. If you're thinking, well, they'll sue them.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll sue to get their money. Sure. Good luck with that. By the way, I think on retainer, they probably have gone pretty deep in the library or roster of attorneys. But that's apparently what is going on. They did play their first round in Mexico City yesterday, but we'll see what lies ahead for them. Yeah. Week in review. When the Beat of Sports continues, you want to do it now or later? Now?
Let's do it now.
All right. We're going to show within the show. If you're on the stream, stick there. If you're not, go. I brought gifts for Chris today, and I think he's going to like every single one of them.
I'm excited.
I will show them on the stream. Go to our YouTube page, 96 The Game Orlando. Click on the logo, the live button. Watch us there, or on Twitter at 96 on Game On. We'll do the show within the show, then come back with a week in review next.
All right. So do you want me to go in there, or how do you want
No,
me to
no, you can sit there, and
Okay.
then and then the stuff I brought in, you can come.
Okay.
Next segment. So I picked some things up.
Okay.
We've made Chris eat things he doesn't want to eat a few times. Okay. So I think you're gonna like what I brought. Okay.
Okay.
And if you're watching in the stream, maybe you know this. I'm gonna ask the first thing. You don't know what this is.
No, I don't.
I don't think you'll know what
Oh, okay.
If you're old like me, you'll remember this because this was like a summertime treat for me and so forth.
I know
Okay.
yesterday we had a fascinating talk about gum.
Does anybody know what this is? What these are?
Gang.
They're buttons. These are when I was a kid.
Okay.
And it's all sugar filled. You peel this off the paper, and it's like a sugar candy.
Oh, nice.
But the thing that anybody knows what this is, and if anybody's in the stream, please put in the comments. You would end up eating like a pound of paper because it never came off. So you just like peeled it off, and the paper's on there. And when you're a kid, you're like, whatever. So you just eat it. And so I bought these. These are buttons. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I got, Chris. Does
All
anybody
right.
know what buttons are? Okay. Then How about this?
Nice.
See the flavor?
Cinnamon churro.
Have you
All
had
right.
these before?
I haven't. I told you the only bags of sunflower seeds I will buy for myself is ranch or regular.
Okay.
So cinnamon churro.
So cinnamon churro.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought this for you yesterday. The cinnamon churro.
Nice.
By the way, they count as a serving size. A quarter cup is a serving size. It would be like 20 seeds for you. Okay. like who considers that a serving size? Okay.
Who knows?
All right. So cinnamon churro.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
So far we're doing good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Then I got Bazooka Bubblegum.
Oh, the original.
Yes. Yeah.
Original.
The original. There's Bazooka Joe up there.
Yep.
Although I love on the box up here, if you can see this. Okay. Can you see what it says? That's probably not.
New
comics.
New.
You're thinking someone's like, hey, why don't we update the comics? Get some new comics. So Bazooka Joe's there, and
Nice.
now it comes with new comics.
Nice.
Okay. We got that. And last, certainly not least. You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I think I'm kind of scared.
Look what I got you.
Nice.
I got
I love me some Big League
the
Chew.
originally Big League Chew.
Oh,
So will you put the whole Big League Chew in your mouth?
no. I mean, do you want me to? I'll do it.
Have you ever done it? Put the
No.
whole, no.
No, I've taken like big chunks, and again, like I told you yesterday when we were leaving the station,
Yeah.
I used to take like a big amount and put it in the side of my mouth like I was chewing a fat wad of tobacco.
Right. Chris, I was a kid when this was invented, okay? We did that long before you were smiled in somebody's eye, okay? So, yes, I'm well aware what you do with it. Yeah. All right, well, maybe I'll say this and one day we'll have you put the whole thing.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah.
it.
So that's what I got for you. And by the way, there's like 20 different flavors of this. This is the only one you get. You don't get all that crazy stuff. Those, sour lemon or watermelon or whatever. You get the original Big League Chew.
Maybe if you have time today, maybe we'll do a B Sports overtime, and I could throw the whole.
I don't. I can't.
Okay.
I gotta run.
All right.
No. Just say this in like next week.
Okay.
We'll pick a day that Chris.
Throwing a fat wad.
Yeah. Just put the whole thing in there. So there you got Big League Chew.
All right. So someone in the stream talking about the buttons. Best sugar high a kid can
See?
have.
Exactly. And you eat paper.
Yep. And mostly paper.
Right.
Someone going to the Bazooka gum. Did you say new comics?
New comics.
Yes.
Right. Right. You're walking by going, I don't know. Do I want Bubblicious? Do I want Wait a minute. They got new comics in Bazooka? Let's get Bazooka.
And then going to the Big League Chew. Someone said you can get some flavor out of that for 30 minutes.
Is it 30? Chris and I were talking about this yesterday, how fast flavor goes in gum.
Juicy fruit is horrible. Fruit stripe gum.
Fruit stripe gum in 3 bites, it's gone and it's a rubber band in your mouth.
Yeah. Fruit stripe gum, like the flavor was good, but it was just gone like that.
Yeah. Bazooka's not bad. Bubblicious, bubble gum, it's longer, but again.
Did you ever do the bubble tape?
They got new comics? What?
Did you ever do the bubble tape?
My kids did that, but bubble tape wasn't out when I was growing up.
What other?
Yeah. And I told a story before. Bazooka gum. We lived in New York. My dad used to smoke Bering cigars, Coronata, Grande, whatever Bering cigars at the newspaper magazine cigar store. They had the single Bazooka gum, and I didn't know. I took some, and I got caught.
Thief.
And my dad sent me back in and left me there as the guy was going to make me do work. And I'm like 4 or 5 years old, crying my eyes out. My dad's like, you got to learn, you stolen everything. Mm-hmm. And he left me there. Well, he did. He was outside and he knew the guy. And for an hour, the guy made me like help clean the store up and everything. Only did I find out it was like a penny per piece. I'm looking at my dad like, so for 3 cents, you left me here for an hour? The age of 5? For 3 cents. Maybe like 1 or 2 cents, like 3 to 6 cents. I'm here. Hard labor at the age of 5.
All right, we gotta go.
All right.
Missed anything during the week?
What?
We've got you covered.
Yeah! Here we go!
Let's take a look back at the week that was. It's the Beat of Sports Week in Review with Marc Daniels.
All right, look back on the week that was. If you missed any of the program, and we'd like to take you back some of the topics and guests that we've been discussing on Monday's program. We were discussing, among things, the magic and the use of Desmond Bain. Unless Desmond Bain said, hey, I don't want to play that much tonight. I want to get the 82nd game. Not tonight, pal, because we as a team didn't do our part in the first 81 games that tonight actually matters. So we need everybody to play whatever minutes it takes because we don't want to be on the road for the play-in game that we put ourselves into. We'd rather be at home. And conserving energy, and sorry, it's game 82. You might sell me a little bit on Black and Wagner because the injuries they're coming back from. But the guy that played 81, who, thank goodness, was healthy throughout the year, sorry, I need the minutes. Sorry. What are you afraid of? Did you not want the game at home? Unacceptable on all of them. Sorry. Forget it, man. It's not like he's coming back from an ACL like Tatum did. And you go, you know what? We're not going to run this guy for 40 minutes. Sorry, he didn't. He's been healthy all year. That was on the Magic's use of Bain of the game against Boston.
I wish you would have stopped apologizing so much during that rant.
Okay. I'll be better next time.
Thank you.
Here's Matt and Rochelle from on Tuesday about the number of non-Saturday football games at home for UCF this year.
I've always been a believer that I'm one of those people that says, listen, you get an opportunity to go out there and play on a limited, smaller window, and it really showcases your program and your team. You get an opportunity to possibly be on Fox, let's say, on a Friday night, or FS, maybe FS1 or ESPN or whatever. You want to take that opportunity, and there's a limited window. There may only be 3 or 4 games going on a Friday night. Gives you an opportunity to get out there and showcase yourself. And people are talking about UCF going into Saturday's game. I know fans don't like it because, again, you got to come home from work at 5. You can't tailgate most of the time. You come into the game, and then, you especially on a high school night, you've got high school football fans. You decide whether they want to go to a college game or a high school. And then you got recruits that don't necessarily are able to take part in that. But UCF understands that this is an opportunity for them to showcase themselves, in the Big 12 and have a national audience and not have to worry about maybe kind of getting lost on a Saturday.
Wednesday, Keith Smith in his weekly basketball visit on the Magic's play-in game against the Sixers, which took place on Wednesday. We're talking about the Magic and also just the playing games in the NBA.
I don't think really, I'll even include all the West teams. I'll include the Heat in this. I don't think any of these playing teams are going to threaten the top 2 seeds in either conference. I think those 4 teams have proven they're enough better than the rest of these teams. If Philadelphia was coming in fully healthy, I might feel slightly different, but they're not. So I think we're in a spot where I don't know that it matters. And what I would say is because I had somebody in the aftermath of Sunday say, well, now should the Magic tank to play the Pistons instead? With the way this Magic team, I'll say, doesn't shoot the ball, and you're going to go against the Hornets now, if you take that game, you're basically telling the basketball god, end our season on Friday, because you can't put that at risk.
Yesterday, Cam Miller, his weekly football visit, a week out of the NFL draft, on the most intriguing storylines that lie ahead.
Right now, 1 week out, we're reaching the fever pitch of we've reached it. Let's face it, the fever pitch of semantics and stories being broken. So outside of that, I still am really interested to see which GM valued Ty Simpson enough to make the selection in round 1. Is it going to be the Steelers? Are we going to see a team trade back that wants to get or use the capital to trade back into round 1 to pull the trigger on Ty Simpson? And then from there, it's where do we rank these edge defenders? Because there's a lot of them, and where does our vote land? I think the run on edge defenders that we might have, I'd go the over. I believe it's set at 6.5. So where does the run start on edge defenders, and then where do we go? How far do we get down the list on these talented edge guys?
And that is the week in review.
Stud of the week.
All right. Let me bring this up real quick. My stud of the week We did this story, I think, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Aiden Quinn goes 0 for 1 in a baseball game. Why is he a stud of the week? Drew 7 walks and nearly outscored Lehigh's opponent, Coppin State, by himself, despite not recording a hit. Lehigh beat Coppin State 38-6. He had 4 RBIs without getting a hit.
Correct. Walked 7 times.
And he almost outscored the opponent.
Right. But Coppin State did win 3 innings. They did outscore Lehigh, who did score 20 in the first.
But you nearly outscore your opponent without getting a hit.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So, Aiden Quinn, my stud of the week.
All right. This is mine, as painful as it is.
4 slider, an 89 change or 90. I mean, it's on paper, you shouldn't give up hits.
He just did. Another home run for Trout. Whoa! Did he crush that?
So he had a bunch. In fact, Chris, I want to do this. Here's all 5 home runs Mike Trout had in the series against the Yankees, okay?
That ball tagged down toward left. Way back. Mike Trout has tied it. A 3-run homer into the Angel bullpen. There goes Frazier. And there goes the ball. Trout sends one deep into the night. He's done it again. Mike Trout with his 2nd home run. An absolute blast. Now we're getting the full package of Trout. And there's a fly ball. Left center field. Trout has launched again as Grisham runs out of room. And the Mike Trout show continues on Broadway. He drives this one to right field. Judge is going back. That's to the wall. That's gone. Mike Trout on a 3rd straight day in New York. There's a rocket. Mike Trout blasts off in the Bronx.
Okay, enough already. Okay. I mean,
5 homers. Ooh.
Come on, man. It's pretty good. I mean, you go to
Turn him
Yankee
back to the
Stadium for
clock.
4 games set. You're like, yeah, watch this. It's 5 home runs. That's pretty good.
Stud of the week.
I don't know which way I want to go. I'm just going to take a slight shot to your Yankees, but one Yankee in particular, your boy, Jazz Chisholm. Didn't he make a promise or make a claim that he was going to have a 50-50 season this year? Or try and didn't he say like health was the only thing that kept him from a 40-40 year last year?
Yeah.
This man is through 19 games that he's played, he's got 22 strikeouts, 0 home runs, does have 8 stolen bases, and he's got more challenges lost than RBIs.
So what are you saying? What's your point?
What are you doing challenging a 1-1 pitch in the 2nd inning?
Yep. I can't help it. No, I was telling you earlier when you mentioned this, I don't understand any major league team that allows a player to challenge anything until the 7th inning.
But a 1-1 count?
Right. No, Chris, I'm agreeing. Even though people love the ABS system and it's kind of cool and here comes it. Oh, it doesn't make sense to potentially lose a challenge early in the game, like the example Chris just painted. But there was somebody that I forget in a 7-2 game in the 4th inning. They're winning by 7. Like, what the hell are you doing right now?
But my actual dud.
Back the Jazz, yes.
My actual dud is these NFL teams: the Commanders, the Ravens, and the Falcons.
What do they do that tick you off?
They put out all these hype videos. Their uniforms are exactly the same.
Oh, because they tweaked a little bit of something.
They're almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, I do love the Ravens alternate helmets.
Oh,
those are badass.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders they added the W with the spear going through it. But everything else on all 3 uniforms are essentially the same thing. Why are we putting out hype videos? What are we doing?
I played this earlier on the bridge. This is my dud of the week. It's not to the person who's asked the question. It's not to the person that didn't answer. It's to the person that cut the answer off, and it's to the league that put themselves in the position. This is a reporter in Dallas who's been there a long time for the Dallas Morning News, is asking Ozzie Fudd, who was the first pick of the WNBA draft, a question because she joins a team that includes Paige Beckers, who Beckers went public in talking about their relationship.
Paige announced last year on TikTok that y'all were a couple, and I'm wondering if that is still the case, and if so, if y'all have talked to any other couples in the league about how they negotiate that dynamic.
I understand why you have to ask that question. So we're going to please find comment in our
So, excuse me. I see nothing wrong with the question because an individual went public about the relationship. The dynamics of the fact that she was not a runaway number one pick for the draft. There are 3 or 4 players that maybe could have gone one. A little bit surprised that she went one, and the fact that they, at least someone claimed, probably have a relationship. Just like I had no problem if Fudd had said, I appreciate your question. I choose to not discuss my personal life. I would have no problem with that answer either. When the media relations person for the Dallas team chimes in, that means that was planned all along. Hey, if we get this question, I'm going to. You just made it a bigger story for your league. You made it a bigger story for the league. She is a professional basketball player now, and as a professional, you handle yourself in a situation. And she could have easily said, I respect your question. I just don't choose to talk about my personal life publicly. That's it. End of story.
Yeah, they very easily.
There's no viral moment.
They very easily could have set her up beforehand. Hey, if you get this question, just kind of, I prefer to keep it basketball related.
That's it. There was nothing wrong with the question, and there wouldn't have been anything wrong if you gave her a chance to answer. And by the way, she could have said, yeah, I recognize that, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, you just made it a bigger story. So, can I get one more stud of the week? I'm sorry, I forgot to do this. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
What up, party people? I got a question. You ready to show up and show out for your Charlotte Hornets as they enter the play-in tournament? Yeah, me too. So
what? Chris, the best way to shut him up, Magic win tonight. Shut him up. Magic just got to win. Then he's got nothing. Shut him up.
Why?
Why?
Why do we got to play that?
Because I wanted to tick you off.
Why?
I like doing it.
Why?
Because I bought you gifts, and it was like my way of evening things out. You're in a good mood. I thought I'd bring you back down.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you know Bazooka's got new comics? What we'll be talking about come Monday when we continue next.
The weekend is coming, and we've already seen the script. From the locker room drama to the mind-boggling calls, we're giving you the weekend spoilers on a Friday. Here's what will we be talking about Monday.
Chris, you ready?
Let's do it.
On Monday, we will talk about recapping Game 1 of the Pistons and Magic.
Hey!
Or who the next Magic coach is going to be.
It's going to be one of those two. If the Magic do lose,
I will
does
say,
Jamal Mosley make it through the weekend?
If the Magic lose tonight, no. They'll make an announcement about a change. But I think we'll talk about Game 1 against the Pistons. I think they'll find a way to win tonight. I do. I think they'll find a way to win tonight. I mean, I was challenging Kelly, give me reasons, because I can give you all the reasons why they won't. But I think we'll talk about Game 1.
I think for the Magic to win tonight, Desmond Bane's got to shoot the ball 30-plus times.
I don't. But a sign early, first being serious, is watch how quickly Charlotte shoots, meaning they will come out gunning from three, gunning. And then the second part, absolute joking, is how much cheering happens at the end of the Magic. If they're not screaming, they can't.
Sorry on the stream, by the way. Probably rattling the camera.
Also, I think there's a chance by Monday, and this isn't new news, but I think by Monday, the NFL may announce the new 5-game deal with YouTube for the upcoming season. You're going to get that out before the draft. New streaming package that Chris loves.
Just put on regular TV.
And here's one for you out on the limb. Ready? I think on Monday, you may hear about a trade already happen or announce a trade for a top half first-round pick.
That I could see.
We reach a point that, hey, someone's made a move and they've moved inside the top 10.
That I could see. I do think it's going to be a quarterback-needy team like a Pittsburgh. If you're the Jets, do you try and trade back into the first round for Ty Simpson?
If I'm the Jets, do I trade back into the first round for Ty Simpson? I'm going to say no. Well, they won't, I don't think. I think the Jets are going to laugh while you want. I think the Jets are going to ride with Geno Smith this season and then look to take a quarterback in 2027. Unless you're convinced that he is worthy of a top 10 grade. If your scouts have done this and you think Ty's a top 10 grade, then you do that. If you don't, then you just play Geno Smith and then go for a quarterback in 27. But it's the Jets.
Yeah.
But according to their head coach, they don't need a quarterback because Geno's taking him to the promised land, wherever that is.
Well, he did not define what the promised land is.
Got to keep it loose, Could go either way. Don't want to commit. Let's talk to Kurt from Maxine's on Shine. The promised land this weekend is to visit Maxine's on Shine for a great meal. How about that, huh? How about that?
Oh, baby. That is in the 101s of a perfecto segue.
Don't try this at home,
nice,
kids. I'm a professional.
There you go.
Do not try it at home.
That online class paid off for you last week, brother.
Man.
Very nice.
How you
Very
doing?
Nice indeed. I'm outstanding, my man. Thank you kindly.
Good.
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
indeed.
Well, you go.
Got a little special event I'm going to be doing tonight.
What are you doing?
It's going to be a little bit of fun. I am for the first time, Mark. I got to get my tongue ready for this. Oh, hey, over there, look over there, look over there. I'm the auctioneer tonight.
Oh, what event?
I'm the auctioneer tonight for the 25th annual Orange Blossom Jubilee benefiting the Winter Park Day Nursery. Now, what a cool. Yeah, a very cool institution going back to World War I, where they started to help out families from World War I vets that were coming back, and they're trying to get their families and get their lives back up and to normal and whatnot. So it dates way back, way cool. So tonight I'm going to be up on stage and letting the old tongue flap around and helping to raise a little money.
So, I mean, this should be kind of a who's who there. So don't be afraid to go. Hey, come on! You're good for another $500,000, right? Come on, let's go, right?
No, that's it. That's it. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going for it. Believe you me.
Nice.
Yeah, I might have to use that. So
nice.
But for for anybody that's good, so I won't be in the restaurant tonight, but the entire team will be looking, of course, Mark, to see everybody and meet and greet, and then I'll be back in, me and Maxine, throughout the remainder of the weekend. So, but man, I got lots of wonderful food for them.
What do you got? What do you
Shall I
got?
go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
Well, all right, brother. So for an appetizer tonight, y'all, just after we did the event, and it seems that France is in the air these days for Maxine's on Shine, we are doing a gorgeous warm lobster meat and goat cheese crepe. Oh, man, you want to get a little fancy. You want to have some of that good knuckle and claw meat that you have known to come and expect from us in anything that we put it in, whether it be our lobster omelet, our lobster bisque, the stuff that we put in that beautiful lobster ravioli. Hey, y'all, tonight you're going to have a beautiful little crepe. You want something a little bit lighter and fun to dive into that you wouldn't normally get an opportunity to try at Maxine's on Shine. You're going to want to start off with that warm lobster and goat cheese crepe. Hey, that would be perfectly paired with our Whitehaven Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. Man, the citrus notes on that, the aromatics are going to really pop. It's going to cut through that goat cheese. So great little perfect pairing. So fellas, if you're bringing your wife out tonight, and as I know you want to come do, that'll be a great way to start. Hey, babe, I got something special for you to get started with. Get 2 glasses of that Whitehaven Sauvignon Blanc, have that crepe. You're going to be really good. Then you're set up for success for the entrees. So keeping with fish and seafood, and as we said, we're fully vetted for freshly and locally netted seafood. Right now, we're running some black drum over there off of St. Petersburg.
What is black drum?
Well, black drum is black drum. You're going to see it. It's a white and black striped fish.
Okay.
It's kind of like in terms of like the texture and whatnot and the flavors. It's really a lot like its cousin red snapper.
Okay.
But
okay.
so
I like a
kind of
good
that same
snapper. Okay.
line with so slightly sweet flavor, but got that firm texture that's going on with that. And then keeping that French theme, a citrus beurre blanc. So beautiful fresh Florida citrus, a little bit of butter, a little bit of white wine that we're going to ladle right over the top of that. Now moving on, and for the guy that, the guys that are out there wondering, saying, hey, Mr. Maxine, you talk a mean game, but you cut out for satisfying my carnival craving. You got the chops for this? Yes, I do. Let me announce the chop of the week, baby. Let me tell you all about it. Chris, I might have to get a little segue for that for Chop of the Week next week. Anyways, yes. So this week we are going to do a 12 to 14 ounce veal chop. The reviews have just been insane on this thing. So Chef went ahead and brought it back. We had some disappointed people last week. So we went ahead and brought that back. We're going to do that with a mushroom bordelaise. Now, remember, we are sexy, comfortable, delicious. So keeping in mind with our chop, the size is massive. The flavor is fantastic. But remember, the veal is going to be a little bit more subtle and slightly sweeter than versus, like, say, the strong, intense flavor of beef. Also, it's a little bit leaner and a little bit lower in fat. And it's going to provide more of like a buttery texture with that. Of course, topping it off with bordelaise. There's that French connection again. A blend of red wine and beef stock, or a demi-glace. So right there, and that adds a little bit of richness to it. And then we're going to add in a mushroom medley with it, give you a little of that earthiness, and then a little bit of texture for it. So those are your features for this weekend. Got lots of great values on our tasty beverage menu. Do not forget Rejuvenation Brunch going on right now. I'm going to go ahead and make the announcement right here. Starting next week, everybody, Rejuvenation Brunch, all the way until 6:30. It's going to be happy hour from 10 a.m. until 6:30. 10 a.m. to 6:30. Now, you say, Kurt, well, it's Friday. I got to go back to work. No, you're not, because if you're going to start your weekend early and you're going to take off, you don't go to lunch. You come to Maxine's for Rejuvenation Brunch. We're going to have our fantastic 5 for $5. $5 draft beers, $5 house wines, $5 mimosas, $5 sangrias, and $5 Amsterdam vodka. So it is going to be, when you're kicking back and saying, I'm starting my weekend early, you're going to be able to treat yourself right. So Rejuvenation Brunch on Fridays, 10 a.m. to 6:30. New features for happy hour on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All those are going to be starting next week. Just trying to bring that little extra love to you. And Mark, I know we only got a few minutes before we got to go. I haven't heard the 1 minute yet, so I think I got like 2. Hey, everybody, I want to remind, and thank you, brother.
80 seconds.
How many?
80 seconds.
Yes, 80 seconds. Very good. Hey, April 29th, y'all, Rouge, the Parisian Cabaret. You've been hearing Mark talk about it all weekend long. I would say that Mac Daddy pitch has led to us. We're pretty much sold out for the 6 o'clock show. I've got plenty of tickets left for the 8 o'clock show. What is Rouge? It's a salute to Moulin Rouge. We got a sword swallower. We got a juggler. We got a contortionist. We got our lead lady, Roxanne LeBlanc, that's going to be getting in a big giant martini glass and doing a bubble bath routine. Fantastic stuff. French cuisine, only $80 plus your tax tip, tasty beverages. You're going to get that. The only way you're getting in is going and buying your ticket right now. Go online to maxinesonshine.com. Right there, you go on the homepage, click on the Book a Table tab. It'll take you to that date, or you can click on the Rouge tab as well, be able to purchase your tickets ahead of time. You can also go ahead and take a look at our live music lineups, which we got live music back on Saturdays and Sundays, y'all. You want to do that? And one last thing, don't forget about your moms. Start booking now. Mother's Day will sell out. I'm already over 100 reservations. So you want to get online, go ahead and get your spot in line. And we want to be able to celebrate with you and your families, whatever the occasion. Remember, life is good in the neighborhood. You are our brothers and sisters out there. We look forward to celebrating the Epicurean passions of life with you very soon. As is always, thanks to all the listeners. Thanks to you, my brother Mark, to you as well, Chris. I hope you guys have a stellar weekend, and we look forward to seeing everybody sometime soon.
Missed that? Go to MaxineSonshine.com. Back to put a wrap of the week next.
time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
LaMelo Ball moments ago when asked about Bam Adebayo, did he apologize for the incident in the game?
You said yesterday that you haven't reached out to him just yet. You plan to reach out to him? And
Yeah, whenever I see him, I try to talk to him. I mean, after the game, I try to talk to him. I was waiting by his locker and everything, or his locker room, and just talking to the security guard waiting for him. But he said he was in the shower and everything. And, you know, it's a tough game. I mean, you lose. You don't really like talking to people. So I just gave him his.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Sure. Guess we can go with that.
Nobody likes any of the Ball brothers or their dad.
Wow.
Nobody likes them. Just like the Paul brothers. Nobody likes them.
And the week.
Just like Stephen A. Smith. Nobody likes him.
And the week. Telling you to do something kind for someone who doesn't expect it. They'll appreciate it. You'll feel good about yourself.
I appreciate you, Mark.
And it's easy to be kind.
You are kind. Sometimes.
Chris, have a great weekend.
You too, Mark.
We'll see you back here on Monday. Maybe we'll talk about a game one with the Magic and Pistons. Or maybe if the Magic lose, then they'll be looking for a new coach. We'll see. Go where you get your favorite podcast. Type on the Beat of Sports on demand to get access to the entire show. Go watch the video stream at our YouTube page, 96.9 The Game Orlando. Chris, producer, I'm Marc Daniels. See you Monday for the Beat of Sports.